Hey folks, Omar Martin here, and we're talking about the Commission Expo. I'm really excited. In this interview, we have Mr. Ben Martin. No relation to me, by the way. What's up, Ben?
Hey Omar, how's it going? Some people do say we're separated at birth, though, occasionally.
You're my brother from another mother.
Some explaining to do. I've got to ask my mom some questions about this.
You got some explaining to do. So look, man, I'm really excited to have you speaking at the Commission Expo because just a few years ago, you were just starting out and you were just struggling. I remember the first time I heard the name Ben Martin, it was through my friend, Michael Cheney, who I've done a lot of work with. I've partnered with. Michael's been in our courses, and to hear him talking about this Ben guy, I was like, oh, okay, But then I hear from my wife. My wife was like, yeah, we're going to be promoting for this Ben Martin guy. And I'm like, who is Ben Martin? Like, who is this guy, right? And, what I realized is that you kind of took jumped on the scene and kind of took the affiliate marketing game by storm. And I start seeing your name on leaderboards and everything. And I know that maybe when you hear somebody say, man, it was like you were an overnight success, you were working really hard for a long time to make that happen, I'm sure. But I love the fact that you're such a rising star. And it seems like you're becoming more and more successful every time I hear or read about you. So I'm really excited to have you speaking at the Commission Expo. And we've got a few questions to ask you in that regard, just so people get to know you. So right now you're in the Caribbean, right? What's the name of the island again?
Yeah. I'm on an island called Antigua right now. So it's an island in the Caribbean of about, let's say, there's about probably 60 or 70,000 people on this island, something like that.
Okay. So you're really living that lifestyle that we see pictured, right? The internet, and I see your pictures on Instagram and Facebook all the time by the pool, beautiful scenery, and I'm like, man, this guy is living the life, right? So that's pretty exciting. Let me ask you, what has been your biggest achievement online as an internet marketer in your journey? Well, I know you're going to be telling your story from stage. It's very impactful, so I don't want to steal any of the thunder. But can you tell us about your biggest accomplishment online?
Yeah, sure. I'll probably think of probably two. The first one was probably the day when I made like 17 grand in a day. I was kind of like, holy crap, this is really real. This is actually real. And then probably the other time was, I think it was the same week. I finished off that week on about over 50 grand in a week. And if you know a bit about my story, compared to where I came from a few years ago when I was completely broke and, in debt and just really in a mess in life, it's kind of like, sometimes even now I'm like, it's hard to believe sometimes that you can make this amount of money on the internet, but the reality is it's real because it's, when you hear it from somebody else, it's almost like, yeah, is that really real? But then when it happens to you, it's like, no, this is real. This is a real thing.
Right. And I know what you're describing because I had that feeling when I first started online, and I would see those screenshots and I would hear claims of like, yeah, I made $20,000 today or whatever it is by these like gurus. And I think, oh my God, get out of here. No way. How is that even possible? That's gotta be a paid actor. I would always, I think it's just because we've been indoctrinated all our lives. Like, you work so hard to make so little money that, when you hear these stories about the kind of money that's being generated online, but obviously it requires some work. Tell us a little bit about your talk. You're going to be talking on the first day, and can you tell us a little bit about what your forte and what your talk is going to be about at the Commission Expo?
Sure, yeah. Well, the biggest thing I've learned to tap into and master on the internet is this whole idea of email marketing. And, when I think it was like about late 2013, late 2014, when I first started to, you hear this thing, the money's in the list, everybody should have a list. And I started to kind of pay attention to it. And originally I had a list of, a few hundred people. I couldn't really figure out like how I turned that into money. And I didn't really email those people that consistently just because I didn't understand it. But eventually, and I'm going to probably share a little bit about this at the event, eventually I actually came across something by you and Michael, which started to change the way I was thinking in terms of email marketing. And ever since about 2014, I just made it my mission to make emailing my thing. So at the event, what I really want to do is I want to share how you can take everyday events in your life, everyday stories in your life, the good things, the bad things, the high times, the low times, and you can turn them into simple 10-minute little emails that bring in hundreds, even thousands of dollars a day.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So using everyday activities, not, to turn them into a copy for your emails that will convert people into buyers. That's great, because how many times have I, or even you, sat at a computer before, just at a blank screen saying, oh my God, what do I write? How am I going to turn this sheet into money, right? And all the answers are all around us, the stuff that happened to us all day, right? Those are the things that really help you develop a connection with the list. So I love it. I'm eager to learn about the way that you do it. Now, how is this presentation specifically going to help the attendees make more money online? So what I'm trying to do is make sure that everybody's in the room for your talk. So I don't want to give everything away. I know the speakers don't like to reveal everything they're going to be talking about in advance, but can you tell me and tell our viewers, how are they going to benefit? How are they going to make more money from sitting in the room during your presentation?
Yeah, good question. And what I would say is this: it's what I found with email marketing is there's like a couple of misconceptions, a couple of mistruths out there that anytime I talk to people about it who have thought about doing it but aren't doing it, they have a couple of hang-ups. And the first hang-up is, you kind of mentioned it, they feel like they're not a copywriter. And I want to completely dispel that myth by showing people I'm not really a copywriter either. Anybody can talk about things that have happened in their day. It's really really simple to do. The other thing is, a lot of people feel like, that creating an email has to take a long time. And what I actually do is, I actually have a method which I use, which means I create every single email in 10 minutes or less. And to be honest, if you're writing an email and it's taking you any more than 10 minutes, you probably need to scrap it and use my method instead.
Got it. Okay. So you can teach people to not overthink things, and that's great. That makes a lot of sense to me. So here's a question that I've been asking the speakers. What do you hope to get out of speaking at the event? I mean, obviously you're living the life at a Caribbean island. You're going to fly all the way here to the States and give a presentation on stage. What do you hope to accomplish while you're at the event?
Yeah, so that's another good question. I think if I think back to when I was new and I was trying to figure it out, I mean, courses on the internet are great, and obviously there's free stuff, a lot of free stuff out there on YouTube, and that's great to a point, right? And you can figure some stuff out from that. But if I was new now and I had a chance to go to an event and sit down with Omar Martin and talk to him for 10 minutes, that would be far more powerful for me than probably buying 50 courses, because Omar is a guy he's been in the trenches, he's been there, he's done it, he's got the results I want. So what I'm hoping to get out of this event is allowing people who were maybe in the position I was in a few years ago to be able to come talk to me and say, listen, Ben, maybe you've just got one burning question that you've wanted an answer to. While at an event, you're going to be able to get to the people you need to, and it's not going to be through the internet. You're actually going to be able to physically eat lunch with these people, have a drink with these people, and make that connection in person.
Yeah, those connections are so powerful. I met, some of the people that I met at my very first event. I was so nervous going to my first event, man. I had to call off sick from work, but it was an event that was happening here in town in Orlando, and I was like, man, I got to go to this because I've never. And what I learned when I got there was amazing. I saw there was so many people. I was like, wow, internet marketing is this huge subculture that I had never heard about. And look at how many people are involved in this. At that first event, I met Devon Brown, Matt Basak, Mike Filsame. I mean, people that I've gone on to make millions of dollars with through the years, all because I went to that event and I was the new guy, super nervous, stumbling all over my words. I still, stumble over my words, but I mean, it was just walking up to these guys like, hey, Mike, my name is Omar, and I'm a marketer on the internet, just walking up, but it was so great to see the reaction of people and how helpful and how nice and how friendly. But it's so different than sending somebody a private message, right?
Yeah, very, very, very different experience meeting people in person. The internet's good, and we all build our businesses there, but you cannot beat, the face-to-face connection, being in a room, and it's something that it's kind of a dying art. It's something that, admittedly, I probably don't do enough of myself, and I know Omar probably tell you when he asked me about this, it probably took me about 2 weeks to make up my mind. I was like, no, I need to go to this. This is going to be a great thing, and you just can't beat meeting people in person. That's about the bottom of it.
Well, you were definitely on the list of people. We're doing the days. First day is going to be email marketing and conversion, persuading people to buy through email, and that's kind of the topic of the day: how to build your list and how to make profitable emails, right? And we've got experts speaking on that. And you're one of those people that I've actually bought products because of your emails. You know what I mean? So like I've actually, and to me, that's awesome, right? Because you're a guy that just a couple of years ago I'd never heard of before, and now I'm seeing these emails that are really compelling, that really make, and I understand the way you structure them. I see the way you pace them out, the way you send them out, and there's a strategy to it. So I knew you were somebody that I wanted to have speaking at the event, especially right away when I knew we were going to do an email and list building day. So let me ask you this: what advice do you have for that person that might be nervous, that this might be their first time, and maybe they haven't been to a live event before, and they're just super scared about walking up to somebody like a Mike Filsame or a John Cornetta or Luke McGuire or somebody like that? What advice can you give to that viewer right now?
What I've found is with these guys and ladies that they're all just human beings at the end of the day, and when you really approach them, they actually love to give advice. One thing I found with successful person is if you approach them and you ask them advice, they love to give it. They love to give of their knowledge. They understand the whole thing about helping people and giving back to people, because a lot of them have been where you are now. They were once the person wanting to approach that person who they almost saw as a guru figure and get answers, and they're just regular people. So I would say turn up and just be like a sponge and mix with these people, and don't be afraid to ask questions, because you will find that they may just say one thing to you and it will change the game for you. Could just be one little nugget that they give you and it will change things.
That is great advice, Ben. Be a sponge. Absorb all the knowledge that these people have for you. And we're all human, right? So don't be embarrassed. Don't be afraid. Just go ahead and introduce yourself. So, Ben, I want to thank you very much for being here. And for those of you guys that are watching Commission Expo, it's coming up. It's happening in Orlando, Florida at the Florida Hotel. This is on April 19th through the 21st. Now, the 18th is the registration, so you want to get there the day before so you can register and be all ready to rock on April 19th through the 21st, Commission Expo. There's a link right below here, and I look forward to seeing you there at the event. Thank you, Ben, for being here with us today. Make sure you guys, when you see Ben, run over to him. I heard you were buying drinks for everybody, right, Ben? No? make sure you run over to Ben and shake his hand and ask him about his email marketing tactics. This guy's got an amazing story that he's going to tell from stage. When he's up there, make sure you're in the room. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here, Ben. And I'll see you guys in the next video.